Before Europe even knew Japan existed, one of its warriors might have already fought there. By the early 13th century, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan and his successors had swept across Asia. They rode from the steppes of Mongolia through China, Central Asia, Russia, and into Europe. They reached the fields of Hungary, the forests of Poland, the plains around Vienna. Meanwhile, in Japan, warriors known as samurai defended their islands with fierce honor and discipline. They had little direct contact with the Mongols at first, until the invasions of 1274 and 1281. So the stage is set, east and west, warrior cultures, monstrous powers on both fronts. But what if those worlds touched? In 1274, the Mongol fleet invaded Japan, landing at Hakata Bay. Japanese samurai met them with steel and courage. The samurai were outnumbered. The Mongols had massed units, crossbows, siege weapons. The Japanese were used to one-on-one combat, not large-scale cavalry and arrow storms. Still, the samurai held fast. A storm struck during the invasion, and it destroyed large portions of the Mongol fleet, what the Japanese called the kamikaze, the divine wind. That conflict left a powerful legacy of samurai standing against global power, of East resisting West in a dramatic clash. But the samurai never marched into Europe. That part remains legend. Across the continent, the Mongols struck fear into Europe. At battles such as Battle of Legnica in 1241, European knights and infantry faced the Mongol horde and suffered crushing defeat. Churches rang bells, cities burned, and armies scattered. Europe was stunned by cavalry that struck as a storm, withdrew like wind, and vanished before the terrain could fight back. So we have two fronts. Europe burning under Mongol steel. Japan resisting the same power. But these fronts are thousands of miles apart. Is there a connection? Could a samurai have reached Europe? Could an individual or small group cross those distances in that era? There are no hard records of samurai fighting in Europe. But legends circulate. Some modern storytellers ask, what if a samurai did travel west as mercenary, captive, or explorer and arrived on the fields of Europe during the Mongol invasions? It's a compelling thought. The discipline of the Bushido warrior meets the thunder of Mongol hooves on European soil. Yet the historical evidence is lacking. No credible documents list Japanese warriors in Europe. No archaeological find pins a samurai katana to a European battlefield of that era.
But the ancient
Still,
maps
the legend
suggest a
persists.
different history.
Why? Because
That
it
a
touches
samurai
something deep.
bearing the mark
The
of
idea that warrior cultures may travel, ideas may flow, borders are illusion. And because it helps us ask, how separate was the world really? The samurai in Europe may be myth, but the clash of East and West, of steppe and sea, is real. Legends reveal our hopes and fears. The story of a samurai in Europe speaks to our desire for connection, for proof that no culture is isolated. It asks us to imagine one moment when two distant points on the map met in the rush of war and swords. And perhaps it reminds us, even when empires collapse, their stories travel. The armor is gone, the horses have turned to bone, but the image endures. So here's the truth. We don't have a smoking sword stuck in the soil of Europe proving the samurai's arrival. But we do have something else. We have the fact that parts of the world once thought separate were connected by war, by trade, by the movement of warriors and ideas. We have the memory of the Mongols crossing continents. We have the memory of the samurai defending the islands of Japan, and we have a legend that ties them together. That legend matters, not because it's proven, but because it reminds us how big the world was, how fluid the borders were, and how one warrior's story can travel beyond the map. If the samurai did fight in Europe, then they fought for something beyond homeland. If they did not,
Across the vast expanse
then the
of
legend
Eurasia,
still tells us
the
a
Mongol
truth,
cavalry advanced like a
that no one lives in isolation. And maybe that's enough. Subscribe for more true history.